Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Xbox, the Box and Xbox podcast. My name is Lewis, aka PotatoChief, and I'm with my good friend Alice, the disembodied voice of Alice, because your video is not working at the moment, is it? So it's just a voice.
Well, actually, not exactly not working because I'm just pretty much like not feeling great, been procrastinating all day, so not in my Sunday best. So I just put up this picture of me as Nora from Ruby. And it's by one of the fans of the fandom, which is by the name of Furby. So say a hi to them or her. I don't know, whatever. But yeah,
hello.
You definitely see that picture there. So if you like it, then give
Furby.
this video a like.
And a subscribe and a comment. Let's just do it all. Follow me on Patreon. Welcome to episode 38, I believe we're on, of the Xbox the Box podcast. We've been going for like 6 months now. This is great. We're doing really well. I think we're doing really. I'm really enjoying doing these podcasts. I'm hoping you guys are enjoying listening to it. We're still quite small. We've just hit 44 subscribers, so thank you all of you who have subscribed. We're trying to grow. We've just started putting YouTube shorts up on our channel, and they seem to be going quite well. And you guys seem to enjoy. You guys seem to enjoy seeing Chai from HiFi Rush getting punched by Donkey Kong. I think that seems to be, or just Donkey Kong just punching people in general.
Yeah,
you seem to enjoy that.
This is the latest craze, actually, because ever since the Mario movie came up with a TV-sized trailer where Mario gets the cat power, whatever it is, cat bell, but he got it, and then Donkey's like laughing at him for collecting, like getting the power up from the cat box, and then he just says like, "Okay, now you die." Now
you die. Boom! Now you die.
But anyway,
take that into a new template.
Well, if anyone's able to get round to it. Anyway, so I know this is like a bit like egocentric, but so far our podcast episodes tend to hit around 30, whereas so there's a few of them that only goes into like as far as like 50 or 60, and that's usually when we talk crap about talk crap about Sony. So I almost swore because I do not want to get monetized. Well, we're not getting monetized anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. But
feel free to swear. But I try not to myself.
Nope, I'm not swearing. Anyway, however, with the Halo stuff going out, we put this video up that talks about like, is Halo Infinite dying? And that reached 186 views. But once we got HiFi Rush and all the developer direct, our videos have like went into 300 to 400 views, and that's great. And just already like swallowed up my Game of the Year, which could be a little bit too late. But I've been so busy after the developer direct where we did like the podcast, edits, and also did the first 12 minutes of gameplay, which you can see on our channel on YouTube. And you can see like there's HiFi Rush that's already got 90 views. But when I did the Goldeneye 007, I got it recorded from the Xbox Series S, and I was the only one who narrated it because I'm the one who knows more about the game. But when I did that, it's got like 200 views, so it's great. But as you said about them, once the DK memes come over, then we did the mobile vids. It's like up to 50 in the moment. One of them is like 44, and I just posted the one where it's only 2 views because, let's be honest, HiFi Rush, there's a lot of meme potential. So when you combine that with some of the other memes, it actually works. But as soon as we use shorts, we got more views over there. And so far we did a DK meme meets HiFi Rush. That got like almost 2,000 views. The one that involves Ruby, which surprised me, is like 3,000 views. And I think it introduces more people to the show. And now we got like DK Smashes Chai again, which we don't want to go into spoilers too much, but you'll see it for yourself. But this one got like close to views. Now, so apologies if I'm like being overly analytical, but the point is I've been working so much and I think all this work paid off. But it seems as if people are like giving more views to shorts, whereas our podcast episodes are not receiving enough views. So we could decide where we can go bi-weekly instead of every week, because if people are not watching our podcasts, then it could mean we could like try to reduce the workload. But then I don't know. It just depends if we were to allocate more time to video editing and video essays or not. Well, what do you think?
Well, so you like to do this during the podcast, like dropping bombs on me. I ideally want to stick to doing it weekly. I don't want to go bi-weekly. I don't know where this is the first I'm hearing of it, ladies and gentlemen. This is news to me. I like doing a weekly podcast.
Honestly, I think someone that's listening to us are business meetings.
yeah. This is a habit that Alice seems to have. You like to drop bombs on me during podcasts, and now you got to react on the fly. I ideally want to keep doing weekly podcasts. So what we got to do is we got to get you guys to start watching and subscribing and sharing. If you enjoy the podcast, show it to your grandmother, your auntie, your dog, your anyone. And we just want to try and grow the channel, and I think the podcast is obviously it's long form content, so obviously it's not going to get the same kind of views as the Donkey Kong Punch and Chai video, which is like literally got 2,000 views, because that's literally 10 seconds long. People need to invest to get involved in this, and I think the people who watch this show are our most loyal subscribers and our most loyal fans, and I really thank them. Basically, this is where the most dedicated people are on the Xbox the Box podcast. Is on the Xbox the Box podcast.
Chief,
we'll see what happens, but I'm going to try. I think we should stick to doing it weekly. I'm not a fan of doing it bi-weekly. I think consistency is key when it comes to podcasts and when it comes to YouTube in general. When you have no content for 2 weeks, the whole channel will just die. So you want to keep a consistent basis, essentially.
Chief, you do realise that when it comes to how people watch YouTube, that's where we come in. We research, trying to analyse our audience.
I've been super analytical and researching the last few weeks. It's ridiculous. Because I've been doing YouTube for like 10 years, and I kind of got stuck in my way. So I've been watching a load of videos, and I found out loads of little things like about hashtags, descriptions, thumbnails, titles, all this. Like I figured out how to optimize them a bit better. So I'm hoping that because I've got a YouTube channel called Potato Pro Wrestling, and I was going to mention that you were saying about Goldeneye. I also didn't want in the Goldeneye video because I was doing Royal Rumble coverage, and the Royal Rumble is the second biggest wrestling show of the year after WrestleMania. So I had to I put all my time and effort into doing Royal Rumble content on my other channel, which is Potato Pro Wrestling. Go subscribe if you like wrestling. But I love this channel as well. And I want both channels to do well. It'd be fantastic if we could get both channels to a decent size. So I want to keep doing the podcast weekly, and hopefully it'll grow. Just let us know in the comments below what you like about the podcast, and if you want us to change anything about it. But I quite like I kind of like the way we're going. Bi-weekly makes it a bit more difficult. So I'm not a huge fan of that, but we'll see. PlayStation We Trust guys do theirs bi-weekly, so maybe. But then there's a 4-hour podcasts, so I'm like, I would rather do 1 hour a week than 4 hours every fortnight. To be honest. But yeah, maybe if it gets a bit quieter, because obviously at the moment we're in the peak of Xbox news season. They've just announced a load of stuff, and there's games coming out for the next 6 months, and it's going to be basically, we got Minecraft coming up soon, Minecraft Legends, we got Redfall coming up soon. So it's going to be busy. We're going to be super busy. If there's a lull, then maybe, but I think when Starfield comes out, we're going to do podcasts every week talking about Starfield. That's gonna our weekly update of how many planets we visited.
Well, I got a question to ask for you. Seeing you have researched so much on YouTube, what's the weirdest gaming trend or one of the most cursed trends you've found while you did your research?
It's not really like that with the research I've been doing, really. It's more of learning how to optimize videos and stuff. Like, obviously, you got trends and stuff, as you said. So I optimize. This is, I don't know if anyone who's listening cares about this stuff, but I'm just, basically, you need to have a niche. And you need to stick to your niche. If you go too far off your niche, people won't be interested. You want to try and make sure that your content is interesting and you're a bit unique and has your own unique take on it. Basically, because we're an Xbox channel, we should cover stuff like the Activision Blizzard, the Activision Xbox deal, because that's big news. But then there's also, like, if we weren't an Xbox channel, that's something we shouldn't cover. Like my wrestling channel, as I said, WrestleMania is coming up, so I'm covering WrestleMania on my Xbox. I cover WrestleMania on my wrestling channel, but I wouldn't talk about WrestleMania on this channel, and I wouldn't talk about the Activision deal on my wrestling channel. So it's about finding the right thing that fits your audience as well, ideally.
So
I'm learning about optimization and.
So it's just all about like trying to divide the wrestling and the gaming into like different channels.
Oh yeah, and try and optimize it so you guys get you guys making the best videos for you, the viewer, and yeah, because that's what a lot of videos I've been watching. They say like the algorithm isn't really your enemy; it's more about trying to find the best top. Essentially it's like a recommendation system. So if we do stuff that people are looking. So basically, people who watch a lot of Xbox content, watch a lot of reaction content, will probably find our videos recommended to them. But obviously, if people who watch fashion videos or makeup tutorials and all that won't have us recommended. Essentially, it's about trying to get our stuff to the right people, and hopefully, the right people will find our videos and enjoy it. And if you are one of our viewers who found our videos recommended, thank you. I hope you enjoyed our content, and hopefully you'll spread the word, because we want to grow and optimize the channel, ideally. Fingers crossed.
I'm not a fan of the algorithm, especially that goes into more doom and gloom aspects of it. Because when people like speak negatively about things, they get more views than those who celebrate things. So we're pretty much in this dark age, and it's just like, things are always going wrong, and people seem to profit from it. So it just sucks. Yeah,
it's true. Because even though I personally believe it, me saying HiFi Rush is better than God of War is me being inflammatory, and that is me trying to get views. I'm not going to even deny that, but I do actually believe that, and that's not it's not something I'm lying about. I literally do think HiFi Rush is better than God of War, but I know that that's going to piss people off, and that's why I made it into a video. Simple as that. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys. That's how YouTube works a lot of the time. You want to have something that emotes an emotional response from people, Yeah, I mean, we want to be honest with you guys, and it's like, I want to make the best content for you guys and stuff that you're going to enjoy. So if something annoys you, then maybe that you enjoy that. I don't know. Some people like watching. Some people like getting annoyed. I don't know, but I personally believe HiFi Rush is better than God of War, which we will get to when we get to the review of HiFi Rush, which is going to be later in this video.
Mind you,
neither of us have finished it, so it's going to be a bit. Yeah, just grain the salt with our review a little bit. If we might change our mind and say, "Oh, actually, the ending sucks." 0 out of 10, but I doubt it.
What would you expect from this game? Is it just going to be a movie masterpiece when it's basically a comic book-esque adventure that's filled with gags and memes?
I love it.
I've already finished the third level, and I'm already loving the style, and it's so great. So I don't really care if the ending's bad or not. So I don't mind.
I'm on mission 7, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm still really enjoying it. So should we talk about what we've been playing, and then we'll move on to the review, I suppose, after that? So obviously, I've been playing HiFi Rush. That's it, really.
Shh. Look. I think we heard that. Someone said, finally. But anyway, so I'll start first. What have you been playing? I did it first.
I've been playing Hi-Fi Rush, so we're not going to really. I will leave that for when we're doing the review. That's literally all I've been playing. I loaded up Age of Empires 2, but I found I couldn't get my head around. It's a bit slow to start, and I kind of got bored. And I always obviously have. And I said, "Oh no, it's not. It's not. It's just. I've got a short attention span lately. Vampire Survivors as well, but yeah, I've been because I've been quite busy with my other YouTube channel when it comes because it's Royal Rumble season, so that's like really important stuff. So, Potato Pro Wrestling, subscribe.
But apparently,
follow me on Patreon.
If you've been doing like Twitter, then that also counts as a game because according to the Channel 4 show of the games that defined a generation, they said Twitter is one of those top games. But and I'm like,
wow.
Yeah, it's just because they say because you get more involved and try to get more likes, it just turns into some sort of game. But I think, to be honest, it's a bit bogus now that Elon Musk has took over it, and now he just like destroys it from the inside. So, not really that much of a game anymore, isn't it?
Twitter's kind of an echo chamber of, as I said, I've been researching stuff. Twitter isn't the best way to get your stuff out there a lot of the time. It's usually you're aiming at the same people who already, like, you only got a small audience. It's kind of like it's an echo chamber. It's just people who have the same interests as you, talking about the same things. So you're not going to pick up anyone new really that way. But whatever. Twitter can be useful, I suppose. But no, Twitter's not a game. I don't count it as a game. The only actual game I've been playing is Hi-Fi Rush because it is awesome, and we will talk about that further in the review. But what have you been playing, Alice?
Yep. What have I been playing is something I'm trying to get my feet wet in it, but I only got as far as 3 levels, is Hi-Fi Rush. And as you can see here, it's the first 12 minutes of gameplay, which if it loads up perfectly, then it should be right there. So basically, I've been meaning to try to complete the game because we're hoping to do a spoiler cast soon, but unfortunately, it's just like I just keep getting distracted, dealing with life issues, as well as like doing a lot more video editing because you realize that I've been addicted to it when I uploaded shorts and videos to YouTube.
Yeah.
So now it's just like I'm getting more involved with Xbox the Box, and that's a good thing because that means we're becoming more passionate about the channel. Because you see, with Xbox the Box, this is our channel. Like, your wrestling channel is originally your own channel, and that's where you get your videos in. But with our channel, it's like yours and my videos in it too. But we're just kind of hoping we get more people in the future to make it much bigger. But there's a bit too early to think about it right now. Well,
I mean, I love both our channels, and this isn't this is not even my second channel. I've got like 5 or 6 channels I've had through the years, but I'm really passionate about this one. This is my 2 favorite things in the world are wrestling and video games. So now I have a channel for wrestling and a channel for video games. So when I want to talk about video games, I got one channel, and when I want to talk about wrestling, I got another channel. So I'm happy to talk about both. I'm happy to do both. I work full time, and when I'm not working, this is like my essentially a full time hobby that I spend all my time making videos and YouTube video. Yeah, so there might be a week where it's just the podcast on the channel, and there might be a week where it's just my reactions on my wrestling channel. But then there might be a week like this week where we've got like 20 videos on both, which just got a bit crazy. So we're sorry about that. We're going to try and be consistent, though. That's the idea. Is that consistency is probably the most important thing when it becomes. Well, we're talking about YouTube again, but it is the most consistent thing is to have. The most important thing is to be consistent.
Should we change the topic to YouTube this week?
The topic of the show. Let's talk about YouTube now. I think I've got my point across when it comes to YouTube. Should we move on to the news? Should we move on to the news?
Well, I haven't actually finished, to be honest, because...
Oh, you got more games to play. I thought you were playing Twitter.
I don't actually have Twitter, so that does not count.
Oh, okay.
But I was going to add that the Hi-Fi Rush, I've been taking some time trying to collect all the bits, but it's just still really amazing. It's like how much of the writing is like so clever and allows for more funny gags. But it's got as far as like, just beating this level and I learned how to parry against the security cameras, and now it's just where the rhythm really kicks into place. Like, it's just not like go around attacking people. It's also, well, robots, but also you just have to like time your parries to the beat, and that's one point where rhythm is actually more bigger than anything else in the game, so it just becomes more serious now. But yeah, it doesn't sound as if there's going to be more than 7 levels, so this is going to be fun. So anyway, what else I've been playing as well is I've been playing GoldenEye, which came out on Xbox and the Switch. I got Game Pass, so I got GoldenEye for free. So, well, not permanently. It's only while I have a Game Pass subscription. But I did a gameplay video first, which you can see on the screen. And so far, it's like not so great. It has a few visual issues and bits, but so far it actually controls just as nicely as a Nintendo 64 original, and I've been having so much fun. So I recorded the first level, then I went on to the second and third levels, and now I just came back and tried to beat their best time. So I got like paintball mode and DK mode as well. DK mode actually exists in the game, even for Xbox. And you know what this means? Like, you don't hear Banana Salama, but instead you have like people with really disturbingly huge heads with long arms. Like, it's so huge, you can actually see them at a distance, and you can easily headshot them.
That's amazing. Gosh. I didn't know that. I haven't really played on though.
All you had to do is beat the third level on Agent, which is easy mode, for just less than a minute. You just pick up the keys and get on a plane. So that's easy enough.
That sounds easy. I have to try that. I haven't played GoldenEye since like the original, so I'll have to go back and play it on the Xbox. And that sounds fun. Definitely. Do you have Rare Replay?
I do have it on disc, but I only got it on Game Pass because I haven't bought the digital one. I don't even know if I actually got a digital one, so I don't know.
Because apparently it's free on Rare Replay as well. So even if you didn't have Game Pass, you should be able to access it. In theory,
I think I may end up like being able to access it if I were to put it in the disc tray, but I don't know, because I don't know how that applies to physical disc owners. But well, I'll just have to look up in Google and see. So in the meantime, so those ones are actually really good for the GoldenEye and the HiFi Rush. These are actually best games for like at the start of the year.
Yeah, very good. It's been a very good start to the year. We've got a lot of good games to play. We had Persona 3 and 4 come, and Monster Hunter Rise. So we've had a really good month of Game Pass games this month. It's been pretty stacked. And next month's just as crazy. We got Atomic Heart. Got a load of really good games coming out next month as well. So, I can't wait. Oof, so much good stuff. Have you played anything else, or do you want to move on to our Hi-Fi Rush review?
That's pretty much it, because I've been like busy with my life too, and I'm trying to read, but I just keep getting distracted because I got a new phone, which is iPhone 13 mini, and I was going to use my iPad mini more. Then I've been kept using the iPhone 13 mini, which I transferred from the XS, and I thought, I'd actually been using it. So I think this is really makes it a good phone. Not so heavy, so light, very good. Don't want to advertise here too much, but I've looked around, and it does appear as if GoldenEye 007 is only free for those who own the digital copy of Rare Replay. But it does often come at about £5 on Xbox stores, so you probably have to like keep an eye out for that when it happens again, because GoldenEye is so worth it.
Fair enough.
If you've got a digital copy of Rare Replay, then they're to be spoilt.
Yeah, or just stick to Game Pass as well. That's the other option as well, obviously. Which I recommend Game Pass to anyone who's even a slight gamer. I think it's such a fantastic service. I love Game Pass.
True.
So shall we move on to our Hi-Fi Rush review?
Oh, which goes first? News or the review?
Well, it's part of the news, really, but we'll do the review first, I guess.
I would put that as news then.
So, yeah, Hi-Fi Rush came out last week. We've both been playing it quite a lot. You've made it to level 3. I've made it to level 7. Essentially, I work full-time, and when I'm not in work, I'm playing Hi-Fi Rush. I'm really enjoying it. We on Xbox the Box, we decided to have a 10-point scale. Is that what we agreed on?
Yes.
That's what we agreed on when we did Just Falls last year. So this is our review. We're not technically, neither of us have finished it, so we might change our mind. But this is our review at the moment as we stand, as played it like a couple of hours each. So do you want to give it a number out of 10? And I'll give it a number out of 10 and we'll go with the average.
I'll start. I would say...
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to say... that's a really tricky thing because it's got a shadow launch and I've been aiming, but I'm going to give it 8.5 for now because it could be 9 out of 10, but it really depends. But I certainly have a lot of fun with it and I do really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a bit linear, but I think it just focuses on like their challenge and having to stick to the rhythm. But the rhythm doesn't actually take in as a huge core part of the gameplay. So therefore, it's just like it's just basically a hack and slash game. Only if you're really good at rhythm games, then you might actually have a huge benefit. But it's not something that is totally integral to the gameplay. But I do find the style is like really fantastic. But then it could be just the evolution of the cel-shaded graphics there. And I think they could have done a lot more. Like they could have had half-tone shading on like some of the characters, like they did, because in the animation scenes, it's like they use half-tone shading, but it's not in the game, so it's a bit disappointing. But apart from that, it's just like it's definitely worth checking out, like especially if you have Game Pass. But yeah, it's just really nice.
So you're saying the rhythm's going to get you. The rhythm's going to get you. The rhythm's going to get you.
Well, I'm going to have to officially
younger people will not get that reference.
Yeah.
I'm going to fix the music. Yeah, younger people will not get that reference, but yeah. For me, Hi-Fi Rush is a 9 out of 10. So I guess we'll say 9 out of 10 for both of us because you said 8.5, or we could say 8.75 out of 10. Oof.
I'm really surprised. I thought you were going to give it like 10 out of 10.
No, I wouldn't give it quite a 10 out of 10. I'm enjoying it, but I wouldn't quite give it a 10 out of 10. It's not 100% perfect, but I really enjoyed it for what it is. What was I going to say?
It has a stat where you pet the cat like many times. Even though it shows it up on the Xbox app. How could you not give it a 10 out of 10?
You're right, 10 out of 10 for petting the cat. No, but yeah, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. So it has the quality. So, okay, I've just lost my concentration there. Okay, so the gameplay is up there with the top of the class, the top of this generation, the top of this genre, the action hack and slash game. This has the same kind of gameplay as a God of War or a Bayonetta, and it does it just as well. And it also adds a twist to it with the rhythm aspect. If you have good rhythm, it really adds to it. If you have bad rhythm, it doesn't really affect you too much. But I feel like the rhythm aspect adds to it, and it has similar gameplay to a Bayonetta or a God of War, and it works really well. Or Devil May Cry, I suppose, is another option. I think they do all those very well. I think the gameplay is fantastic. I like platforming. I like exploring. I think it's really fun. I think the world is amazing. I feel like it has a good sense of humor. It's like Scott Pilgrim meets the world. Kind of, it's got a Edgar Wright kind of feel to it. It's got good comedy. The art style is beautiful. I mean, it's people slagging off the graphics. I don't understand it because I think this is one of the most beautiful games on the Xbox. I think it's fantastic. The art style, the cell shading, it just really pops and really is vibrant and it stands off the screen. There's a lot of games that are like greys and browns, and it's like a Call of Duties or a Gears of War or a God of War or Last of Us. It's just grey and drab and depressing, whereas this is all light and colourful and it pops off the screen. And the art style is amazing. The characters are really likable. You have a cat called 808 who's amazing. You have a really cool ensemble of characters. I really like Chai, the main character. I really like the world. It's always a bit ridiculous and a bit silly, but it has a good vibe to it. It's funny and in a good way, because some games try and be funny and it just doesn't work. Whereas this game is fantastic and it has really well written, and I would give this a 9 out of 10. I think this is one of the best games on Xbox, and I really hope they do a Hi-Fi Rush 2. I really hope this becomes a series and it's not just a one-off. I really enjoyed this, and I really hope there's more of it. And I think if this is what you're going to shadow drop Xbox, just keep doing it because it was amazing and it totally blew all my expectations out of the water of what a shadow drop game could be. This is incredible. 9 out of 10. Didn't give it quite a 10 out of 10 because it's not like quite up there with Elden Ring or Breath of the Wild for me as like, genre defining games. When you put it up against other hack and slash games, it's up there and is on par, if not better, than some of the games best in this genre. I think it's a fantastic game, and I would really highly recommend it to anyone who likes hack and slash games, likes rhythm games, and likes games with a bit of a sense of humor. I think this is going to be a cult classic, or this is going to be a game that we look back at in the next 5-6 years and go look fondly at it. It's like, oh, do you remember Hi-Fi Rush? Oh yeah, that game was amazing. I hope they remake it, or this will be a cult classic. This is a game that people are going to look back on fondly. And I love it, and I couldn't recommend it anymore.
Yeah, I know.
I'm rambling a bit now, but
yeah,
I couldn't recommend it any higher than that.
It's interesting you say about color, because if you said this to me, who was back in 2007, then I would be both like totally on to try out games that has more vibrant color schemes compared to the drab grittiness of like Gears of War and bits, because it's definitely rife with lots of games and movies where it just relies on the desaturation to add that grittiness. But I think, to be honest, it's also another part of me that I think I was going to say that people would probably not dig into it because they are particularly used to those kind of games where it has desaturation, and they feel it's pretty much okay rather than having to go for more colourful, kid-friendly graphics, though. But this one is just definitely not like for kids, but still like packs this punch. So I think this is really fantastic. So should we mention the final scores of this one?
Just also wanted what you were saying there also reminds me of like the Wind Waker discourse when people were talking about Wind Waker back in the day. It looks too childish. But when you look back at Wind Waker, and it's one of the most beautiful games ever made, and it holds up better than most games that came out around that time period. I think Cell Shaded is a game that, when it's done well, it could be really beautiful and really well done. And I think this is a game that's going to stand the test of time. We're going to look back at this in like 10 years' time, and it'll still look just as pretty. It's really, really beautiful game.
I would say that I think there's much of a discourse, like with many people saying it's not looking great. I think a lot of it is just stemmed from the beta footage where it's like more like plasticine type of graphics, and it does look a bit weird. But when the Wind Waker came out, it's more redefined, and now it just looks as one of the best looking games ever made. So
this is true. I love the art style of Hi-Fi Rush. I love the gameplay of Hi-Fi Rush. I love the characters, the writing, the music. Maybe I should give it a 10 out of 10, but there's something about it. I just don't feel like I give it a 10 out of 10. I don't think it's quite there. I don't know. I don't think it's one of my favorite games of all time, but it's definitely my front runner for game of the year at the moment. Even though we're only in January, as I said, it's not quite up there with Elden Ring or Breath of the Wild for me, which is the games I would give 10 out of 10s to. But it's damn close. I mean, it's still a little. If it was I don't know. It's something. It's not quite a 10 out of 10. 9 out of 10 though. I don't give 10 out of 10s rare. I give 10 out of 10s really rare. It's literally, I'll only give like 4 or 5 games in my life for 10 out of 10. So I'm very picky when it comes to the 10 out of 10 reward. I don't just give it out willy nilly. So 9 out of 10 for me. A fantastic game.
And
worth playing.
And I still stand with 8.5 out of 10. But as you're saying about 10 out of 10s for games, I think I definitely felt like giving out full 10s to a few games. Not that I've done a lot of reviews, but there was. But I would rather pick games that actually influenced me and feel it stays with me for a long time without having to be overly concerned about the scores. Like Shadow of the Colossus is one of those games that I would give a full 10 out of 10 because even though it's a bit shallow, it still gives you that really fantastic experience. And
Shadow of the Colossus up there, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And
definitely.
And I also really enjoyed Bayonetta. The original Bayonetta is just so amazing. But then again, it's just I don't know whether that's going to hold the test of time. But it could be a potential full 10 out of 10. But to me, I just really think that Hi-Fi Rush is, like you said, it's a cult classic. But it's just definitely not hitting 10 out of 10 unless it actually gives an everlasting experience. But to me, I think it still really amazes me, and I think it'll be so good. Now, you're probably thinking I'm definitely one of these people who prefer the latest God of War games. And I know I could be biased, especially I don't have a PlayStation and I haven't played them before. But I would definitely imagine that I would go as far as giving 9 out of 10. And I think the original God of War 4, is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
That one I would give a much higher score compared to Ragnarok, which Ragnarok actually is more narrative driven. But I think there's enough reasons to suggest that there's a little bit of fatigue compared to the original, which I think is actually better in comparison. But I don't think it's particularly fair to compare both that and Hi-Fi Rush for me. But you're certainly comparing it to God of War and feel that Hi-Fi Rush could be actually huge.
Yeah, I mean, for me, so I like God of War. I enjoyed God of War 2018, but as you just said, I feel like Ragnarok is too similar to 2018 to me. It's not done enough different stuff for it. I beat 2018 last year, so I beat it late, and I feel like now I'm playing Ragnarok. I'm I've played this game already. I'm kind of bored. I'm kind of meh. It's kind of felt a bit samey. Whereas Hi-Fi Rush, I'm really enjoying it, and I feel like the rhythm stuff adds to it. I like the art style. I like the characters, and it's got a similar gameplay where it's you got a heavy attack, a light attack, a counter, a roll. You have a character that does. You have assistants. You have extra people and stuff. And you can make different combos and specials and stuff. So it has all that in it, which is the same as God of War. But I just I prefer. I feel it's more charming Hi-Fi Rush. And I feel just the world is. I just prefer the world of Hi-Fi Rush. Personally, and I feel I've already played God of War Ragnarok when I played 2018. I feel there's not enough difference for me. That's why I don't get it when he was winning all the Game of the Year awards last year. I felt Elden Ring was an evolution of game design, whereas I felt God of War was kind of the same game we already played 4 years ago, and not really much changed. It's looks slightly prettier because it's on PS5, but it's the same game. It's plot slightly different, but I don't give a crap about plot. I'm a gameplay over story any day person. That's why Vampire Survivors is one of my favorite games of last year, even though there's nothing to it. It's just basic as hell. But the gameplay is fantastic, and the gameplay trumps everything for me. And I feel the gameplay in Hi-Fi Rush is better than the gameplay in God of War, and I like the art style, and I like the characters, and I like the world, and I like the music. So, sue me. I know you're not going to. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but I don't care. That's my personal opinion, even if it is a hot take. Hot take. So we're going to give Hi-Fi Rush a 9 out of 10. But Alice is giving it an 8.5 out of 10, even though didn't we say we're not going to do 0.5s? Okay, so this is an 8.75 out of 10. It's a bit complicated.
How about we sell 9 out of 10 between us?
Well, let's just say 9 out of 10, yeah. So Hi-Fi Rush is a 9 out of 10. We highly recommend it. It is one of the best in the genre. The hack and slash genre is one of the best. It's a good rhythm game. Highly recommend it to anyone. The art style is fantastic. It has an Edgar Wright type story. It's funny. The characters are likable. The characters are colourful and vibrant. And the world's all colourful and vibrant. And the rhythm is going to get you. The rhythm's going to get you. The rhythm's going to get you. Oh, rhythm's going to get you. Who sings that song? I'm going to look that up in a minute.
I don't know. Wait, let's move on because
rhythm's going to get you.
Because this is by far the biggest new piece of this entire podcast. So, do we have any other news of some sort?
The only other news is the Halo stuff, because we said we were going to do E3 as our main topic of the show, right?
Yeah, E3 is the main topic of the show. But what happened is that, as I found out, I don't think it's been talked about in lots of different sites, but there's already like some huge, massive, like rumors that there are now multiple reports with different sources to suggest that Halo Infinite, it could well be no more. That's because that they're now looking to drop the Subspace engine instead of Unreal and go for the Unreal Engine. And this has been rumored for so long. And now they're looking to move on from Infinite and hoping to go for the reboot of Halo Infinite with the Unreal Engine, and also plan to do more Halo games with Unreal Engine. But it does not deny that 343 is not working on Halo, because 343 Industries is now working on Halo still. It's just they're going to be able to change hands due to a massive layoffs and a huge change to plans to get in the pipeline. I think of a pipe. I don't know, but they're definitely changing hands and going under new management, which means we could end up seeing Halo in a much different light. So, what's your opinion?
Halo Battle Royale. So it's Gloria Estefan who sings the song "The Rhythm's Gonna Get You." By the way, just had to throw that in there. Halo is going to go Battle Royale. Maybe that's the rumor of certain affinity. The fact that they fired a lot of people from 343 is not surprising, honestly, because 343 have not really done a very good job with the Halo franchise, to be perfectly honest. I feel mean saying it, but it's true. It's not surprising that they changed a lot of people, but it's still sad. Obviously, I don't like to see people lose their jobs. Hopefully, we get a better Halo from this, I hope. So obviously, as you said, if it's rumors are we're going to be getting a Halo Battle Royale. It's like we didn't really mention that, did we? It's like that's the rumor from certain affinity. So that would be cool. I hope. I'm not a huge Battle Royale fan, but I love Halo. So if we get more Halo stuff, that'd be great. I don't really know how you can reboot Halo Infinite in a new engine. Like, are they going to build the whole game again? But in Unreal Engine, I don't understand how you can do that. It's weird. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure they've got their way of doing it, but it just doesn't. What do you think? I don't understand it really. How you can really reboot a game in a different engine?
That's like saying about whether we should make a sequel or the remake because we're changing the engine. Because
exactly.
Overwatch, there's a sequel called Overwatch 2, but it turns out to be the same game but with some different rules. It doesn't suggest whether they use a different engine with better graphics, but I think it's likely to be a route where many games can go for a huge revamp. much like said about
Well,
Paladins, where it's still buggy and people have
yeah,
been demanding for it to get a rewritten source code and have a much better looking game, because it still looks like it looks good on the Xbox 360, but it still
yeah.
hasn't been mentioned whether that's going to be a sequel or not. But many people suggest
Yeah,
that people may throw a Overwatch 2 in this state, because like with
yeah,
Destiny, this used to be a Destiny, then there's Destiny 2, because Activision wants it so that every 3 years there'll be a new sequel, and that's basically to
yeah,
continue Bungie's 10 years plan. But that's before they turn Destiny into a fully fledged life service.
yeah. Well, what I was going to say is also Fortnite. They went in Unreal. They were the first game was in Unreal 4, but it's still the same game, but now it's Unreal 5. They've changed the engine, so it has been done. But I don't think moving Slip Space to Unreal, like, surely that's going to be more tricky than moving from Unreal 3 to Unreal 4 or 4 to 5. Like moving from a completely different engine, like Slip Space. Like, how long has it took them to build Forge mode in Slip Space, and now they're going to change the engine? It's weird. It's really odd to me that they're going to, like, the game's out. You might as well just stick to it now until Halo 7 comes out, or Halo 7. Like,
Well,
you know,
I would.
I don't understand. It's
May
weird.
I button that the Halo Forge has been available for Halo 5 using the Slipspace engine, and I think the Slipspace, I don't know if Slipspace engine is like
But,
first used for Halo 5 or not, but if it is, then
yeah,
it received Forge before. It's somehow taken an extra year for it to be transferred over to Halo Infinite after a 6-year
yeah,
hiatus. So that is a bit
it's
weird,
weird.
but it could suggest the Subspace engine may have lacked documentation or even the intuitive features to even suggest that this is incredibly a sustainable engine. So it would explain why
Yeah,
people would be switching over to Unreal Engine. But if that happens, then as long as it helps with the pipeline of trying to get this game better, then I'm definitely down for it, because I've been working with like such specific engines before, and I do find that it's a bit more complicated and you run into a lot more issues. Whereas if you work with the
yeah,
Unity or Unreal Engine, then it's definitely like much easier, and it's much easier to get the like objects in. But do you remember the Source engine? It's like a huge C++ framework. Only it's like
yeah,
it's too complicated to get this working, because I ran into a lot of those issues though.
yeah. I mean, yeah, we both do games design and stuff, so yeah, we do get that kind of stuff. It can be very complicated. Um, yeah, it is confusing to me. I don't really know what to. I mean, do you think we're gonna get the Halo Battle Royale next year, or like in the next couple of months? Is that going to be a thing, or is that like the reboot? I don't really know what they're doing. It's really
I got
strange.
a better question actually. Would you
All right,
prefer
then.
the Battle Royale to be a separate game from Halo Infinite? Because that's what they're looking to do that if they're going to ship it in Unreal Engine 5.
I'm not sure really. I prefer. I'm not a huge fan of battle royales, to be honest. I prefer just to stick to Halo Infinite the way it is. To be honest, I think Halo Infinite is a really good game. Which is obviously the pipeline of DLC and extra content has been the issue. If they could just figure out a way of speeding up the pipeline, I'd be happy if they just stuck to Halo Infinite and stuck to the slip space. If they could just figure out a way of optimizing it, but obviously they're having issues with that, and that's probably why they're moving to Unreal.
I
It's
I completely agree
it's a
with
bit
you
sad.
actually,
It's a
because
bit sad.
Halo Infinite is right on the nose, because it's supposed to be a hub for getting all this Halo multiplayer. So it would be great if they
Yeah,
integrate Battle Royale in, but they may have to like rehash the entire game if they're going to do a different
yeah,
engine, unless they have some way to be able to like switch the engines under the hood, so people wouldn't have to worry about losing the cosmetics they purchase, or even like
yeah.
having
True.
to install a completely different game. But if that's the case, I hope it works in the same way with Minecraft, because you used to like play Halo Xbox 360 version and then got into Xbox One, and then you had to install a different version of Minecraft as a better together upgrade, which is now known as Bedrock.
That's true.
But
That's true, yeah.
but people can still like transfer some of the bits there. But some of the skin packs they bought on like the Xbox One edition is not really compatible, not properly, and it's still a bit buggy. So it expects you to like switch to the new version and rely on the marketplace in order to like keep like try to stick to the new system. So it's a bit odd, but hopefully there should be a solution so that people would not have to lose out when it switches over to the Unreal Engine. But apart from that, I'm really excited about Unreal Engine. But at the same time, it could be disruptive towards those who are used to Halo Infinite and who already like bought a lot of cosmetics on that game, as well as getting their creations in their Forge mode. Because if they have to switch engines, then but they have to like reverse engineer and rebuild Forge from the ground up.
Probably. I feel like they have to make the whole game from the ground up. It's not just going to be literally moving copy and paste into a different engine, is it? It's going to have to be rebuilt. It's very strange. Yeah, I don't really know. It's weird. I don't know what to say about it, really. It's just... I wish Halo was just, like, I miss the good old days when Halo was just the king of shooters and it was just everything about it was just perfect and they just need to knock it out of the park. Obviously, it has to be like that for like a decade now, which is a bummer. Halo 3, Halo Reach, we would just get map packs and the modes. They'd have all the modes we needed from day one and like have a good leveling up system. But they haven't really done that with the new games. It's very frustrating.
We have to move on to other bits of news. Could be our longest podcast episode ever. You two, HiFi Rush and Halo.
Sorry.
So what else?
Well, topic of the show, yeah? So topic of the show!
Well, just to drop in a few bits there, because there's a few bits from like Eurogamer, which now is... We'll just like drop the headlines there. So basically... Sony confirms they're quietly announcing the end of PlayStation Plus collection.
Oh, didn't know that. That's a shame. I like PlayStation Plus collection. One of the only things I actually enjoy about my PS5. That sucks.
Netflix has revealed anti-account sharing changes, which means the primary location of the user has to log in like every month. If they don't, and some devices could be blocked, which means they may have to require a 7-day code in order to continue using it for 7 days.
Bye-bye, Netflix. Gonna cancel you then. For all this. I don't need all this crap.
Someone's pulling out a Crunchyroll movie there, because Crunchyroll used to be like showing the episodes of premium for the week before they offer it for free, but now it's like always premium. So yeah.
Oh wow. I like a shame Netflix has just screwed themselves. I don't understand why they do that. It's silly. They want to crack down on password sharing, and so this is their way of doing it. But then it's just going to annoy everyone, and everyone's just going to cancel. So
yeah,
whatever. It seems silly to me. I feel like one of the main selling points of Netflix is password sharing, to be honest. But there you go. It's one of those things. Bye-bye, Netflix. I'm going to cancel you now because there's not much I want to watch on you anyway.
I'm
Crown,
also...
maybe. I've never gone back watching that yet. Like the new series of that.
I'm not...
Be interesting.
And I'm not sure if I will be keeping Amazon Prime even for video stuff, because not only I'm not using that much, but Amazon already screwed up with 3 of my orders in the past 3 months. So I'm like, got an external SSD for video editing yesterday. Got it in the post, which I hope to use it for Final Cut Pro. But I ordered like 2 terabytes. I got 1 terabyte instead. So I have to return it and get the money. So now I have to buy it at Curry's.
Yeah. So I've had the same. I had Amazon Prime, and every time I ordered something, it would come at like 9 p.m. Like, so it was like I'd be waiting around all day for stuff to arrive, and it won't arrive until 9 p.m. It's like, you know what? Screw this. And now I have normal postage with Amazon, and it arrives at a regular time. So I was paying extra money to get stuff like 6-7 hours later than I should. It's
What?
ridiculous. It's supposed to be a good service. That's not a good service. That's why I don't have Amazon Prime anymore, because it's pointless. As I said, I get everything at like 9 p.m., which is insane.
Oh my
Absolutely
gosh!
stupid.
Like, my parents have been relying on my Prime subscription. Like, oh, could you order this for me or some sort like that? But the difference is now, like, if you stick to regular posting, then it's going to get better, because the biggest problem, like, I didn't know it was exclusive to Prime, because if you order stuff and it tells you like, oh, it's going to come at lunchtime. Oh, it turns out it's going to come over at 5 p.m. And then once they give you a package, like if it's high price items, that you have to read out a password or some kind of Morse code type of thing. And then when they give it to you, they go back to the fan. And then once I open it up, there's a chance you may get an item that's already been opened already, or it could be something that is like different. Like, there were 2 incidents of this. Like, people have been ordering iPhone 14 Pros, like very expensive phones, and they've been receiving dog food instead of it. Then there's like there's another article by The Guardian, which I don't know if I can bring it up. So 2 seconds. Okay. Oh gosh, I've been browsing a lot, but I'm trying not to swear too much.
FNL.
Well, watch it, Chief. Anyway, go away, and there we go. So yeah, basically someone ordered a new MacBook Air for 877 quid on Amazon and ends up with a pair of men's shoes instead, and had problems trying to return it for the refund. So that, I mean, now it just tells me as if Amazon is not becoming accurate with it. And now you mention it, it's just like, oh, go Prime, and somehow you get delays to the deliveries there. So I just think, like, it's just like, you know, The Simpsons, like, you try to improve things and you're like, oh, well, the garbage man, and try to give you that premium service. And then turns out people are just going to end up being pushed to the extent and not get so much money out of it. So I just not trusting Amazon that much anymore. And I'm trying to move away from it to go like Curry's, XC if I want customized items, which I'm getting some really good service out of most of the resellers there. And eBay if I want used stuff, because I don't particularly trust renewed stuff on Amazon. If I want a renewed ThinkPad, for instance, I go on eBay. Now, sorry, it's a little bit of a rant and it's not related to games, but you do realize you order games on Amazon, and you can definitely get a lot wrong with it. But funny enough, when I set up an Amazon account, the first 2 things I believe were Shadow the Hedgehog for Xbox and Star Wars Episode 3. One of them came out and I tried it on, but it's got some paint on it, and it turns out the disc is not faulty. It's like, oh my gosh. And I was like so upset that my dad told me to like shut up about it and just wait for it to be replaced. And like, oh gosh. So yeah, Amazon wasn't used to be that unreliable, but now it's just like becoming less and less unreliable. So if anyone has any problems with Amazon, then please let me know in the comments. Please. We need a day.
Yeah, I realize that. Yeah. So should we move on to our topic of the show?
Yeah. Oh, I heard again that.
Finally! Topic of the show. Topic of the show. Oh, topic of the show. E3 is dead. Basically. Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo have all pulled out of the show, so there's no big console developer there. I suppose you might get stuff from like and EA, maybe, I don't know. But the main console makers are not going to be there this year, which is a bummer, I suppose. I mean, it's nice. I like having all of the press conferences come out at once, but it kind of makes sense to spread them out. Like, everyone's competing for like the views with each other. It kind of makes sense to have have a Nintendo Direct and then an Xbox Direct and a Sony State of Play like a couple of months apart. It doesn't really make sense to have them all within a day of each other. I mean, that's pretty much it. I feel like, I don't know. What do you think?
To be honest, I still remember that like about 10 or 20 years ago, that it used to be like all the major publishers coming out for some like huge shows. And yes, 10 years ago, it's like really fantastic. Well, okay, exactly 10 years ago. It's like PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were announced, and we're like Sony simps for that time before we say, oh, Xbox is better. But yeah, it's just a little bit over that. We used to like have all the publishers in, and it's like really, really special. But I think once the Nintendo is like focusing more on the Nintendo Direct, I think it just kind of gives others the confidence to drop out too. So now E3 is becoming less and less relevant. And I think the COVID stuff is like really impacted them in such a way that publishers now have to rely on their own directs. So it's a bit sad, really.
It is sad. Because my birthday's in June, so it always used to be a nice birthday present to me. It's like, oh, yay, all the games are coming out. Yay. Ooh, I'm really excited. Love E3. I used to have so much fun watching E3 conferences back to back to back. It would be the most fun ever. I mean, my YouTube channel, when I was doing Potato Pro Wrestling, before it turned into a wrestling channel, I used to cover E3. That was like the first reaction videos I used to make with E3 content. And I had so much fun covering E3. It's a bummer because we know when all the games are going to be announced at that point, whereas now it's like you could be like just having a normal week and then suddenly Xbox or Sony or Nintendo go, oh, we got a Direct like tomorrow, drop everything. I'm like, crap, okay, go try and book the day off work or got to get up early to watch this or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, drop everything. It's a Direct time. And sometimes they're not really efficient, really good times for us in the UK either. Like, it'll be like middle of the night or first thing in the morning, and it's frustrating. So, I don't know. We've got Summer Game Fest is probably going to take its place. So, Jeff Keighley's going to have some games to show off, probably. And we might, but Summer Game Fest was a bit poor last year. I'm not looking forward to it. I feel like Xbox has loads to show, so they're still going to They said they're still doing a conference, but it's just not going to be any free. So I don't know what to expect, really. Apart from Starfield, obviously, and maybe a new game. But I don't know what, it's supposed to be around E3 time, but it's not at E3.
Yeah.
Which is weird and confusing.
I'm actually the more used to the Directs. Like, they give you the trailers and gives you more to the point. Like, how successful the developer Direct turned out to be, and I thought, yeah, it's good. And quite often they follow up with discussion shows, and I think that's just the way things go. So I think it's just like they're now changing the formats there, and instead of like trying to open an event that's only for like news reporters, now it's just turned into like publishers announcing their stuff on like video services. Because if you think about it, E3 started as a convention where anyone can pop in and try out some games. And there's some like really huge moments from there. But now it's just like people can now watch all this stuff and check out what it is through the internet. And now it's just a case of the publishers may find it's like a bit cheaper than having to attend E3 to give this content straight to the consumers.
Exactly. I get that. It's like more of a direct, like pun intended, more of a direct connection to the consumers.
Yeah.
It's like, it's more to the point. And obviously, you don't have, like, it's not like the IGNs or whatever go in there and they tell us about everything. Just Sony, Xbox, and Nintendo give us the information they want us to see, and it's going to be just shown on video, and everyone has the same information. It's like they don't really do the backstage stuff now with other press conferences, with other journalists. So yeah, no, I'm interested. I'm obviously I really care about the Xbox and the Nintendo stuff. So the fact that there's no Xbox or Nintendo at E3 is going to be a bit of a bummer. I don't even know if we're going to check it out this year now. I don't know if there's a good Ubisoft one. Maybe I don't know. What do you think? Are you going to be checking out any of the conferences if there's any third party ones? Any you're interested in?
I mainly stick for the Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft, but
Yeah,
I think some of those conferences run into early hours in the morning, so I just couldn't really stay up
yeah.
awake long enough to check them out. So what I like about those is that I can interact with the communities to check out their thoughts on it, but then I think it's just like I would rather that they would pre-record the videos and then release them, like for us in the middle of the day, so people in America can check them out without having to check out in the evening, and
That's true.
likewise us can be awake to check out the trailers. Because I think the thing is, it's just not only it's like more practical for everyone, especially the journalists, but also it's just like easier for people to react to them because they need people's reactions online in order to see if the game has gained enough potential.
Yeah. Reaction. I mean, we will do our reactions. I mean, we're going to react to the Xbox and Bethesda game showcase in June, probably. As long as the channel's still active and stuff, we're going to do a reaction to that. So, yeah, I totally understand that. I think reactions are the new thing, really. Reaction channels are still really popular, hence why I have like 2 of them. I would recommend, I feel like it's a shame E3's kind of dead, but it's kind of, it's kind of a relic, isn't it? It's a kind of old-fashioned way of doing it. It kind of makes more sense to do it this way. So yeah, I kind of get it. It's a shame though. I'm nostalgic for E3. I have good memories of it, but if that's the end of E3, then that's the end. That's it. Then fine, and we'll move on with our lives, and we'll just focus on Summer Game Fest. And yeah, I mean, the only downside with Summer Game Fest is literally like the 2020 Summer Game Fest was like it felt like it went for 6 months. It's like, is this ever going to end? Are we ever going to? So there's no definitive start or end date. It's just like, oh yeah, we'll have a conference. Maybe have another conference in 2 weeks. Maybe not. We'll just randomly drop a game in like the middle of the week. So like, oh, okay. I mean, that's the only downside I could see. But yeah, maybe not having everything happen in 1 week is also a bit of a antiquated, out of date, out of fashion kind of thing as well. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I got nostalgia, but
and that's the reason why I got the 2017 briefing on, and you can definitely get some like exciting moments. Like about 60 years ago, Xbox One X was announced at E3, and it's come over. I still have that. It's actually the best version of Xbox One that I've ever got. Same as I said, the slim version of Xbox 360 for. As a far superior version than the vanilla Xbox. So, yeah, it's just like really fantastic. But what are your best moments from like E3? You don't have to watch them in order to know them.
Well, I was going to say my favorite moments for like E3, Halo 3, the Halo 3 announcement trailer. I am your shield, I am your sword, and then like Master Chief looking over the crater, and it all opens up, and it's like the giant. Oh yeah, the Halo 3 trailer. It gives me goosebumps even watching it now. Just watching it back, it's like Marty O'Donnell's music, and it just like literally gets my goosebumps on my. It's so good. I think it's 2007. It was E3. Halo 3 trailer. If you want to try and get that up, I don't know if you can. Put you on the spot there. Put you on the spot. That's my favorite moment. And Halo 4 reveal was also up there, but I'm like, Halo 4 didn't turn out as great, but Halo 3, like, ooh, chills. Chills down my spine.
Can I say something? That I got. The first thing I heard about Halo 3 was, I think it was when I was trying to get my Xbox 360. But then when I was looking around Xbox Live, I noticed there's a trailer for Halo 3. And I downloaded it through the broadband connection, and then I just found out for this amazing trailer, and it's just like, oh gosh, huge crater and stuff like that. And I thought, wow, that's just really good. And it just got me really excited because I think the Halo 2 is one of my favorite E3 moments because they got the campaign right there and they introduced the multiplayer, and I think it's really special. But once they got the Halo 3 stuff, it's like, oh, we get to see the rest of the story that's left off in like Halo 2, and you finally get to play Halo on Xbox 360. So I think this is by far like the most special part of it. So I would say, yeah, totally up for it.
That was my favorite trailer. But we say about E3, but then you can say stuff like the Game Awards. They showed the Xbox Series X for the first time in Hellblade 2, and that was a moment. That was like a jaw-dropping moment. And like the Summer Game Fest last year, they showed Elden Ring for the first time, and everyone lost their mind for that. So you don't really need an E3 for these kind of moments to like resonate with people. But I am nostalgic for E3. I do enjoy E3. Like the Halo memories and the Nintendo Directs in the past, always used to like getting Smash Ultimate. The Smash Ultimate one was amazing because they go, we're going to show you the new characters, or we're going to show you what characters are returning for Halo for Smash Ultimate, and it was like Mario, and then it was like Pikachu. And I was like, okay, it's just normal characters. And it's just like Ice Climbers. And like, whoa, Ice Climbers are back. What the hell? And it's like Pokemon Trainer. Oh my God, Pokemon Trainer's back. Oh my God, Snake's back. Pichu's back. Ah! And just everyone losing their mind. But the trailer just kept getting better and better and better. And then it literally was like, everyone is here. And it was incredible. That gave me goosebumps. And then you would have Ridley at the end as well, the Ridley trailer, because everyone said Ridley will never be in Smash because he's too big. And they made him small enough to fit into Smash Brothers. So that is another one of my favorite memories. I almost cried when I first watched that. You can see my reactions on my YouTube channel. Oh my God, I'm so into it. And it was such a moment. I don't know, Metroid Prime 4 was another good reaction, but it was literally just a logo me going, Metroid Prime 4!
Anyway,
literally the whole reaction.
Right. I know this is going to be the section where I'm going to be editing it heavily, but one of the best, probably the best moment of E3 that changed everything, even though I wasn't around to see it on TV, because I think this only like given out in the very conference. But
sorry.
If you get to see the video, you get to see the part where the Saturn has been heavily marketing, trying to get the Sega Saturn out, and now Sony came back and delivers this. So let's react to it. Ready?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've already seen it, but yeah, like 1,000 times. $2.99, and he just walks off. Funny though, very funny. It reminds me a lot of the Xbox One, PS4 launch as well. As much as I love Xbox, they totally botched that. They've totally botched the launch of the Xbox One, I must say. And then PS4 coming out with a cheaper console, coming out like we're not gonna block used games. We're gonna let you have used games. We're gonna have no DRM, and we're gonna be £100 cheaper. And it's like, well, fuck, bye Xbox. Like you completely destroyed Xbox that conference, unfortunately. I am a huge Xbox fan, so yeah, he's still there. He's still reacting to that video. I don't know
it's already finished because it's still more for it. I'll just continue it.
Basically, for people who are audio listeners, he just comes out and says, basically the Saturn was like 400 pebbles. My dog's decided to knock over my microphone. The Sega Saturn comes out and they said this £400 or $3.99, and then the PlayStation guy comes out and goes $2.99, and then just walks off. Which is like the best like mic drop moment ever. It's like our console's £100 cheaper. Like mic drop. Which I love that. It's so funny. But yeah, it's similar to the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Especially some an Xbox fan, we're an Xbox podcast. They messed that up royally. PlayStation 4 had it was 400 quid cheaper. You could use used games, and you didn't have to have a intrusive webcam. Ugh, they messed that up, but I feel like the Xbox Series X has done a much better job. I think this generation they're doing a much better job than they did last generation for sure. Xbox, yeah, but they ship around as a G. Boy, he's a gangster.
I would definitely say, like, I was just in and out between lots of different consoles. Like, I grew up with Sega. Yeah. I just then jumped between GameCube, Xbox, and PlayStation 2. And it's like, dipping my fingers across all of them, because I know Sega's, like, not a huge hardware manufacturer anymore. But I was like, I think might be okay with Xbox 360. Then I'm like, oh, cool with PlayStation 3. And then PlayStation 4 came around, and I was like so blown away by the announcement, and Xbox One was like embarrassing. But then over time, it's just like I'm more used to Xbox One, especially with the Xbox One X, because I found the experience to be better. And that's when I just sided with Xbox and used Nintendo Switch, because as I got older, it's not always important to own all three consoles at once. Also, I don't game on the PC those days, so it's like I got a limited set of systems for me to play on.
I have all the consoles. I grew up as I was always a Nintendo fan growing up. Got the GameCube, got the Wii U, and all that. Then the Wii, I enjoyed the Wii for like a year with Twilight Princess and stuff. I was totally into it, and then I was like, oh, what's this Xbox 360 thing? This looks cool. And then I got the Xbox 360, and it's like, ooh, I love this. Like Gears of War and Halo 3 and like Forza and like even Oblivion. There's so many good games on the Xbox 360, and I love the Xbox 360. I like my friend Dean. I don't know if you know Dean. He had the original Xbox, so I pop over his and play Halo 1 and Halo 2 and Doom 3 and stuff on there. So I did enjoy the original Xbox, but I never owned one when it first came out. The 360, I absolutely adore. It's one of my favorite consoles of all time. I love that console. The 360 is incredible. I owned the PS3 as well, and I never played it anywhere near as much as the Xbox. And then I owned the PS4 and an Xbox One, and I played the Xbox One much more than I played my PS4. And I got a PS5 and I got an Xbox Series X, and I play the Xbox Series X more than I play my PS5. So Team Xbox now, because I think I just prefer the console, I prefer the controls, I prefer the systems. Game Pass is like a deal breaker to me now. I feel like Game Pass is just better than anything that Sony has to offer, and I like the controls. And I'm a huge Halo fan, and I actually really like Bethesda as well. I think it's a really good acquisition for Xbox. I hope they get Sega soon, which is what I want. I want Xbox to get Sega so we can have like all the. So, like, you know, we have the Sega library on Xbox. It would be insanely cool. I mean, what do you think? I mean, that's what we said. We've said that multiple times. That's my dream acquisition would be Sega. I think that would be the perfect one for Xbox. Perfect fit.
Yeah, personally. I think it would definitely like check that out. I mean, I think it would be a wise decision for Microsoft to buy Sega, especially they need to get their reach into Japan. But I think it's now like turned into a huge discourse with Microsoft trying to buy Activision. Like, we wanted it to be bought, but many gamers suggest like it's not worth it. Just cancel it already and think it has too much pressure there. But now it's just like a huge discourse to know like whether it's going to be free or not. But I think it's just already made some of the people are already making a huge deal out of this when it was simply like Microsoft buying Activision. But then either way, it's just like no matter what, whether it's owned by Microsoft or not, you still get the same kind of workplace toxicity, which people have been pointing out. There's still like issues with Microsoft's workplace. So it's just like nobody wins.
Well, the thing with the Activision deal is if it doesn't go through, they're still going to have this $68 billion burning a hole in their pocket. They could just buy exclusive They could just do the Sony thing of just buying everything exclusive. So, we'll buy exclusive content to this game and 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 this game, and you'll have a worse experience on PlayStation. And they could just do it that way. They could just, and they could buy like loads of smaller studios It's like they're not going to go. It's not like if they don't get Activision, that's it. Xbox is dead. Like they're just not. They're just going to spend it somewhere else. You know. It's not. You might as well just let them get it. Just let them get it, and then I feel like if PlayStation manages to block the Activision deal, I feel like Microsoft needs to go scorched earth. They just need to just go like hammer down there and just literally just get everything exclusive. I would on Game Pass. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Activision. I'm not that bothered. But we kind of got off on topic a little bit here. So E3.
I think it's a bit ironic if like Sony like gets rid of like the Microsoft deal, then Sony ends up buying Activision. So who's the one who's killing the competition of, huh?
Yeah, they couldn't afford Activision. I wouldn't think that's the thing. We'll see what happens with that. I really hope that they get it, but we'll see. I'm not a huge Activision fan. I don't really care about any of their games really, but I think it'd be good for the system to be good for Xbox to compete for competition wise, because Xbox are being third place all like the last. Well, basically ever since they come into the market, they've been third place. So it would be good for them to actually kind of get a win here and close the gap a bit. It would be nice.
Well, I think you did like told me, which hasn't been brought up in the podcast, that Xbox has sold more units this in the past year, and they're already catching up to the margin between them and the PlayStation, which means
so it wasn't the news, all right? I cut out the news. I should have probably kept it in there. But yeah, it's not that they there's more console being sold. It's that they have more active users on the Xbox Live service than PlayStation. The PlayStation has about 100 million, and Xbox has 120 million. So they have more Xbox users online. So I don't know what that means. I guess more people are playing PC games, or they have Series S and Series X, or either or even Xbox One. So they actually have a bigger online service than PlayStation, which is big news because PlayStation are considering that like that they've said it themselves, and that's like the most important statistic. So the fact that they're falling behind is huge news, and Xbox has taken over. So yeah, it's big. That's big news. Obviously, they did the big revamp of PlayStation Plus, and it doesn't seem to have worked for them yet. So we'll have to see what happens. They need to do day one game. They need to do game one games on PlayStation Plus. That's like the only way I feel they can close this gap. Or they might just leave. They might just be happy being slightly behind. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I just think to me that I just said people will buy Xbox more. It's just the biggest issue at the moment is Europe. Like, I think Japan is already moving on from Sony into like Nintendo and mobile platforms. But in Europe, people are like preferring PlayStation over any other system. And now even the people in those legal positions are like attempting to disrupt the deal by Microsoft. And it seems they're the ones who are making the much bigger fuss than any other territory in the world.
Yeah, unfortunately. It's weird. I don't understand why the PlayStation is so popular in Europe. It doesn't make sense to me, but there you go. I'm Team Xbox, Team Nintendo. So we kind of got off topic a little bit. E3's dead. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I don't know how long this podcast has been going for. How long we've been going?
Almost an hour and 13 minutes.
Oh, not too bad.
But the good thing is, it's not that long, because we thought we would be chatting for about 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think we're going to probably wrap it up then, unless you wanted to add anything else.
That's all. I need to get food.
Yeah, me too. Well, I need to stretch my legs a bit as well. But yeah, I think like I'm sad that E3's going. I'm nostalgic for it. I really like have fond memories for it. But maybe it's time for it to go. Maybe it is the end. Maybe and like maybe we are better off with developer directs and Nintendo directs and PlayStation State of Plays. I mean, maybe that might be the future. We might just have to get used to it. It's kind of a bit sad, but maybe it's time. That's my final opinion when it comes to the E3 thing. What do you think? If you want final thoughts,
I don't mind if E3 goes. So I just say if it's got to go, then it's got to go because it's just a huge change.
Oh, goodbye. So long, farewell, as Feeder saying goodbye. Bye-bye.
And with that, we say goodbye to this podcast episode. So if it's about the Fantasy Critic stuff, then we will update it in another week or two because there hasn't been a lot of changes. So as we go into February now, there's now going to be like more games coming out. So we will update you on that in the next episode or two. But stay posted.
Yeah, the only thing about the fantasy draft is that I've counterpicked Suicide Squad, and I'm third place now because they've PlayStation have got seasons of something, the indie game that got their points up. So now I'm in third place. That's the only update. It's not much changed, to be honest. But we will see next week. Hopefully I'll catch up. Who knows? But thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. The channel's been growing quite steadily, and I really appreciate any new subscribers. If you're new here, thank you very much. But yeah, if you watch this all the way through this video and you're not subscribed, please consider giving us a subscription. It would mean a hell of a lot to both of us. And we really, really want to make our channel more successful. And if you have anything you would like us to change or add to the podcast, let us know in the comments below. Any feedback's fantastic. We really appreciate it. Any of that stuff is fantastic. We don't normally like to ask for subscribers and stuff, but we're trying to grow this channel, and we really appreciate anyone who could subscribe. Every single subscription counts to us. Every single one means the world.
Chief, my stomach is literally rumbling right now.
All right, okay. Well, thank you guys for watching. Until next time, too sweet.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye. Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at xmarksbox on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. And follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.